Well, in a world today when we're living on furloughs and everything is shut down, let's spend some time looking at some tools that are built into the camera. Well, hey, my name is Tony. I'm a filmmaker photographer in the St. Louis area, and right now we are in the middle of the COVID-19 crisis all over the world. I hope that you're staying safe and healthy. Here in Missouri, we're still allowed to get into the parks, so about every day or so I try and sneak out here and just do a little walk. It's good for my soul. So hopefully you have the chance to do that too, and when you do, take your camera with you. So today what we're going to be doing is talking about some of the tools that I use that are built into my camera that will help me get better photos and video. Now, most of this will apply to both of them, but obviously some of them will be better than others. So why don't we go for a little walk, and I'll just explain some of these tools as we're taking some photos. Let's go. So one of the biggest challenges I had when I switched from the 5D Mark IV to the EOSR was the electronic viewfinder. And I really struggled with it, but once I got used to it, I really loved some of the features that you can use in the viewfinder while you're taking a photo. And the biggest one is the histogram. Now, the histogram is basically this graph that tells you when you're overexposed or underexposed and where all that lies in between. And so basically all you want to do is you create this nice little mountain, and as you're taking photos, you can adjust your exposure and make sure that you're not clipping out the highlights or crushing your blacks. Now, what you want to do is avoid doing that, because in post, when you're editing your photo, you've got a lot more range to play with while you're trying to dial in your style. So make sure that you have your histogram turned down. Now, the way that we can turn on the histogram is you go to the yellow menu setting, which is the wrench, go to number 4 in that setting, and you hit Shooting Info Display. Now, once you're in there, you hit the Screen Info Settings, and you'll see 5 different presets that you can see for your electronic viewfinder. Now, just go ahead and select on the first preset and make sure that histogram is turned on. Make sure to hit OK. Now, when you go back to your viewfinder or LCD screen, if you hit the info button, you can toggle through those presets, and you can choose which ones you want on and off, but make sure that you have the one that has the histogram. All right, so the next tool that I want to talk about that's built into pretty much every camera that I've ever seen, including my iPhone, is the grid. Now, the rule of thirds is so important, and I've talked about this before, because it separates beginners from advanced or professionals. And so what I want you to be using that grid as much as possible. So let's go ahead and turn it on, and then I will share with you how I use it. Okay, so we're back in our yellow menu, number 4. Go ahead and click on Shooting Info Display. You can either do this by touching the screen or by the OK button. Then once you're into the Shooting Info Display menu, select the grid display. Now, you got a couple different options there, 3x3, 6x4, and then 3x4 and diagonal. I prefer just 3x3 because it keeps the screen nice and clean. Hit OK, close out your menu, and now you have the grid on. Now, this is really important when you're using photos, because you can see where you need to align your horizon. You can see whether or not you're level. You can see if you're planting right in the middle of that frame, which for some reason I just keep coming back to. And so when I have this grid on, it really helps me remember, okay, put the horizon at either the top third or the lower third. Same with the subjects. Get those subjects out of the center of your frame, especially their heads. Don't put the head in the exact center of the frame. It just does not look that appealing. So get them on one of the thirds, line up their eyes in one of the points if you can possibly, but make sure to be using your rule of third grids. All right, let's keep going. All right, and the third tool that I want to remind you about is the articulating screen, believe it or not. It's a huge tool that a lot of times I just forget to use. Back when I had the ADD, I loved having the articulating screen. You could get down really low, you could move it around, all sorts of different things. Then I picked up a 5D Mark IV and lost it and had the fixed screen, and I missed it so much. Now, we've got a full frame, very capable camera, the EOSR, that has the articulating screen. And I'm really glad to see that Canon is putting this in most of their cameras. So now you've got it, let's use it. Make sure to get down really low so that you can get those really creative angles that you just don't see every day, or really high, or you can move it around, do whatever you need to, but just remember to use that articulating screen. All right, guys, well, hopefully these tips are helpful for you. I've got one more bonus one, and that is the Canon Connect app. Somebody asked me today, how do I pull focus when I'm using these long telephoto lenses? And a lot of times what I do is I'll pull up the app, and I will do a full video on that. But that's kind of a bonus tool that's built into your camera that will help you get some creative shots, including self-portraits. So make sure to be using that app as well. Other than that, I've been shooting on a new lens that I picked up, the 24-105 RF f4. What do you think? Do you like it? It looks pretty good. I've got the EF version, and it's one of my favorite workhorse lenses. And so I'm kind of playing around with it to see what kind of good bokeh I can get out of even an f4. So I've been really impressed. I've got some great photos with this lens already. And I'll probably do a review here in the next few weeks because it's one of the cheapest RF lenses you can get right now, and it is so beautiful. All right, guys, if this video has helped you, I would love for you to like it, share it with somebody that you think it might benefit. And also, if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. We do a lot of camera stuff and kind of outdoorsy lifestyle. So, all right, guys, have a good week.